We open with Jigen spying on Colonel Arnold, a man leading a coup. He shoots a trank at the Colonel and assumes his identity in order to search for the President's hidden safe. He doesn't get far as a woman, Anita, shoots him. Lupin and Goemon manage to infiltrate themselves. As an attack rages outside, they discover the President already dead. Lupin discovers the route to the safe in a statue, but finds it empty. Lupin tries to reach Jigen, but his comm is out. Jigen's alive, but wounded, thanks to the bullet hitting his radio. Martial law is declared, and Arnold demands a search for Secretary Domingo, suspecting he stole the treasure. Fujiko poses as press and relays what she learns to Lupin. Jigen's still somewhere out there, so Lupin and Goemon decide to split up to find both him and Domingo. Jigen heads to a bar and discovers Anita there. They make some small talk, but Anita soon discovers Arnold is alive. As Arnold confirms Domingo's been caught, Anita races out and opens fire on him. Arnold chases Anita down and takes aim at her. At the last second, his gun is shot away. Anita gets back up but soon gets cornered. Arnold's tyres are shot out and Jigen signals Anita to follow him. They're soon surrounded, but Goemon makes an attack. He tells Jigen to run while he fights off Arnold's forces. Jigen and Anita take refuge in a church. Anita tells him she's trying to return to Prague, and taking out Arnold is her ticket to doing so. Jigen correctly suspects that Domingo is the one who put her up to it, and tells her to head back to the bar for now. Meanwhile, Arnold interrogates Domingo on the treasure but gets nothing. Lupin keeps watch as Domingo's led to his execution. They're interrupted by Zenigata doing his usual hunt for Lupin. Lupin takes the chance and causes a distraction. This allows Jigen to shoot Domingo's ropes free and hit his shoe with a tracker bullet. Fujiko notes that Domingo's headed for an airfield, likely to cross the border. Anita's informed and the gang help get her there. Domingo opens fire on them, but Anita stops Jigen from firing back as he's her escape plan. Lupin and Goemon take a plane and pursue Domingo. Domingo opens fire on them, despite his plane's gun supposedly being rusted. He soon runs out of ammo, allowing Goemon to make an attack. Domingo's plane is cut up and the treasure is revealed to be hidden in its bomb casings. Anita returns to the bar, lamenting that she can't go home. The gang head off to their next heist, laughing and comparing battle scars. This episode has the same writer as episode 129 of series 2, Yutaka Kaneko, who's also written for a few other episodes I've enjoyed. The episode itself has some good tension going on, but the ending raises a lot of questions. Seems strange that we see Anita lamenting being stuck where she is while the gang just happily get on a boat and head off to their next location. Pity really, as it takes a bit away from the story. Lupin's targets this time are the owners of an insurance company, Bone and Wave. They've made billions on insurance policies that met with convenient accidents soon after. Lupin's plan takes him to Egypt. Following a brief encounter with Zenigata, he drives out to a newly discovered pyramid. Said pyramid is fake, commissioned by Lupin from a ceramics company. Disguised as the culture director Hassan, Lupin works with Fujiko to declare the new discovery with the intent of drawing out Bone and Wave. They meet with Lupin and broker a deal. Zenigata makes an appearance too, but doesn't sense anything immediately wrong. As he leaves, he's still suspicious, so he decides to take another look into Hassan's office. Goemon sees to it that Zenigata doesn't spot anything incriminating. Wave keeps tabs on Lupin as Hassan, following him to a tent. He summons a team of soldiers and surrounds the area. All he finds inside is Fujiko in the bath. That said, Lupin was hiding there, much to her annoyance. Zenigata visits the pyramid, now guarded by Bone and Wave's soldiers. They watch at night as a blimp flies overhead. Spotting Lupin's emblem, they open fire. Lupin was actually inside, sustaining injuries, but assures the gang this was part of his plan. Lupin reveals that the pyramid is filled with ice, with the ceramics currently working to keep it from melting. Zenigata talks with everyone, pondering why the pyramid wasn't discovered until recently. Fujiko calls Hassan over to a tent before he gets an answer. Bone and Wave then appear with another Hassan. Zenigata suspects it's Lupin, but Fujiko races out of the tent saying that the Hassan inside is Lupin. This turns out to be a trick, but Zenigata arrests Hassan none the wiser. Lupin signs a deal with Bone and Wave, agreeing to a much higher policy. That night, Jigen fires a shot at the top of the pyramid. He gets chased away and no one suspects anything wrong. The broken pyramid unveils the ice, causing it to melt overnight. On top of that, Lupin used tricking to change the policy money to be turned over to him. Bone and Wave discover the last of the pyramid as the gang celebrate their newly earned money. I have to admit, I was surprised there was actually a real Hassan here. Guess they felt they needed a way to get Zenigata out of the plot for the finale. Or maybe they felt that they had to include him to show he was real so Lupin could fool Bone and Wave. It was a nice touch that Zenigata remained suspicious even if he got the wrong guy in the end, and didn't identify Fujiko. Overall, fairly slow-paced episode, but not a bad one. A woman's brakes have been cut and she goes over a cliff. A news report the gang are watching reveals she was Princess Gretchen of Monaco. She was a Hollywood star Lupin was a fan of, as well as an old friend of Fujiko's. As Lupin deals with a flower seller, Fujiko speculates that Gretchen was killed by the king. Fujiko's theory is confirmed as the king pays a visit to Kasim, who is currently remodelling a treasure of Monaco, the Cinderella shoe. It can be broken down and rebuilt to fit any woman, with the king having his eye on a woman named Julia. Fujiko proposes that the gang steal the entire treasure as revenge for Gretchen. Lupin's on board, but Jigen and Goemon refuse to take part, as there isn't any evidence that she was killed by the king just yet. Julia, the flower seller, is gifted the Cinderella shoe. It fits, of course, and the king proposes to her. The lights then go out and Gretchen's ghost appears, accusing the king of killing her. Julia suspects something is up, and Fujiko unmasks, giving the king a verbal calling card. Later, Lupin and Fujiko check out the Monaco treasures on display. Zenigata's also present, though doesn't recognise them just yet. He's there to oversee the security. Said security's a bit over the top, but does the job. Closing hours arrive and Kasim enters to clean up the displays. He dodges the security and Zenigata ends up getting caught again. Kasim unmasks as Lupin and races off with the treasure. Too bad for him it was fake and ends up exploding. It happens. Jigen and Goemon observe this, with the former deciding to take a closer look into things. Zenigata is shown the real treasure, but warns the king that Lupin won't stop and suggests infrared security. Lupin hijacks a phone line and poses as a handyman to install his own brand. Later, Lupin disables the security via remote control. Too bad for him, a second system was installed. Jigen arrives to shoot out the lasers, but they get sealed inside. As the ceiling lowers, Goemon comes to the rescue. The gang realise they're in Monaco Casino's control centre. They decide to have some fun and smash the place up, emptying the money flow. With the king's money gone, Julia decides to leave him. Gretchen is also revealed to be alive. Suspecting something was wrong, she had a disguised Fujiko drive the car, the body at the funeral being a wax figure. The gang watch as Fujiko and Gretchen ride off with the treasure, Lupin figuring it belongs to Gretchen. This story takes inspiration from the life and death of Grace Kelly, Princess of Monaco, though there wasn't any conspiracy going on in the actual event. As a character, Gretchen was a bit lacking, as it would have been nice to learn a bit more about her relationship with Fujiko, as an example. Granted, when you're supposedly dead, it can be difficult to do, plus, runtime. I think the big highlight for me was all the security systems, for just how comically over the top they can get. That and Zenigata managing to get caught in it twice. While the gang are berated for the way they're dressed on their latest heist, Fujiko's admiring a jewel collection. It's owned by the philanthropist Maki, who's hosting a jeweller's exchange in the hopes of getting even higher quality pieces. The gang begin their work and get greeted by a child as they resurface. The child claims Lupin's his dad, with a note supposedly proving it. Lupin denies it, but on the way back a second child claims the same thing. They also find a baby at their hideout's doorstep. Zenigata's in the city and spots Fujiko, figuring she'll lead him to Lupin. Things get more complicated for the gang when Jigen and Goemon both get approached by their own alleged offspring. Lupin contacts Fujiko, but she dismisses him due to her own target. Zenigata traces the call and picks up on the location of Lupin's hideout. The gang continue their digging operation despite the kids. This causes problems when they start playing with the plastic explosive. Fujiko also makes a move on Maki's jewel collection. As she navigates the laser grid and helps herself, it's revealed to also be Lupin's target. The explosives are set off and everyone's surprised to see each other. Fujiko's also confused at the kids, but they're forced to escape before Lupin can say much. Fujiko ends up surrounded, while Lupin's greeted by Zenigata. Fujiko tries putting on fake tears, claiming Lupin put her up to stealing the jewels. She then learns they're fake, Maki's plan being to claim insurance money. Seeing the kids, Zenigata breaks down, lamenting he always wanted a family of his own, which gives the gang a chance to escape. Fujiko has Maki in her sights while the rest of the gang notice the kids have disappeared. Jigen and Goemon suspect the whole fatherhood thing may have been a trick. Fujiko then drives in, followed by the police. They manage to elude them by hiding out as mannequins, and Fujiko reveals Maki also owned an actor's studio. Lupin puts two and two together and heads there, learning that Maki's planning to skip town. The kids walk out and confirm the whole thing was an act, which Lupin compliments them for so as not to hurt their feelings. They wish the kids well before heading off to find Maki. Maki is on his way out of town, pursued by the gang. Goemon waits on the bridge, cutting a hole underneath Maki. Lupin then swings by and grabs the real jewels. He gets away for the most part, though Zenigata grabs on, still convinced the kids were Lupin's. Nice how this episode managed to bring all the plot points together. Amusing premise for an episode too, given Lupin's love for women and all. The game's obviously up when Goemon gets a kid as, well, he's hardly chaste, but certainly doesn't seem the type to have a kid. Also nice that they kept Lupin consistent in that he doesn't care for kids following him around, but he'll do what he can to protect their feelings, as seen when he congratulates them on their acting. Next time, a safe and its key, a hunt for dolls, a prize in a painting and secrets in a statue gets us up to episode 48. Until then.